From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN Noon News.
Good afternoon. I'm Augusta McDonnell. Miller Robson has our forecast in just a few, but first let's get to our top story. Fresh off their Big Sky title, the Montana men's basketball team is headed to the NCAA tournament. MTN's Kyle Hansen has the details.
There was celebrations aplenty here at the Still Room in Missoula for the Montana Grizzlies men's basketball team. As on Sunday, the Grizzlies found out their date, location, and opponent for the NCAA tournament. For Montana, they drew a 14 seed, and they'll take on third-seeded Wisconsin.
It's the 14 seed.
It was a scene and moment that teams dream about all year. And for the Montana Grizzlies, it had been a 6-year wait, with Montana last going dancing when they went back-to-back in 2018 and 2019.
From the end of the championship game to the ball going up in the air in the first round is as much fun as the actual game in the NCAA tournament, and one of them is waiting to find out who you play. So it's always fun to see the guys, show some energy and be excited about a matchup.
It was a new opponent this time, though, as Montana got Michigan both of those times, but same conference, as they will take on the Wisconsin Badgers on Thursday in Denver.
First of all, we're always just happy to be in the field. You always sometimes wonder about certain matchups, style of play, things like that. I need to watch a lot more film to have an opinion, but there's no question they like matching this up with the Big Ten.
Family, friends, and supporters were all in attendance on Sunday as they supported the Grizzlies at the Still Room. And after a couple of moments that made it sound like it would be the Grizzlies, their wait eventually paid off when they heard their name called during the selection show.
The thing I like about Denver is our fans can get there, our families can get there, everybody can get there with the direct flight. Some of the places like Wichita, Milwaukee are a little harder for our fans to get. So I think we'll have an opportunity to have a pretty good crowd.
And for the first time, every player on this Grizzly basketball team will experience what March is all about. It's the best time of the year for college basketball fans, and the Grizzlies, as a 14 seed, are hoping to make a Cinderella run for plenty of Montana fans. Reporting in Missoula, Kyle Hansen, MTN Sports.
And a happy St. Patrick's Day to you and yours. Is it the luck of the Irish that we may see some decent weather, at least for a little bit this afternoon, before we start to see another storm system come in? Our next winter system will be tracking, but we do have some sunshine around portions of the state with temperatures in the 30s and 40s. But alas, we do still have some lingering moisture from this area of low pressure that's moving off to our east. We have a little bit of rain and snow, Bighorn County, also down around Sheridan, southern Stillwater, also around Missoula. But we get ready as we track our next winter storm. You can see those warnings and watches in effect. We will take a look at that with the main forecast coming up.
And now the latest on a man wanted for a double homicide in Billings, finally taken into custody after a high-speed chase in Billings Sunday afternoon. 19-year-old Godfrey Broken Rope has been wanted by police since November of 2023. You might remember this crime, which rocked our community when 31-year-old Kenneth Morrison and his 1-year-old son were shot and killed in a drive-by shooting on the Billings north side. But Sunday, Broken Rope was spotted riding as a passenger in a blue SUV on Blue Creek Road. Billings police say they followed the car and tried to stop it, but the driver fled. Officers used a pit maneuver where Broken Rope was arrested at South Billings Boulevard and East King. Police believe Broken Rope was in the backseat of a pickup truck in November of 2023 when shots were fired at Morrison's home. 2 others, Myron Goes Ahead and Jane Nicole Noses Gun, have already been charged. Inmates at the Montana Women's Prison are rebuilding connections with their children through a unique parenting program. MTN's Marcus Kokova takes us behind the bars for a close-up look at this initiative, giving mothers a second chance and the people making it possible.
Prison isn't the place where most might search for smiles.
With hard personalities and confined environments, it's hard.
But the mothers at Montana's women's prison say you just have to look on the right day.
When I get called down here, I'm like, I'm on my way. I'm going to go talk to Kendra and Kelly today.
A few months ago, I got an email explaining that the women incarcerated wanted to recognize 2 people behind bars.
I look at them as a mom and a grandma, a sister and an auntie.
They're like my prison aunties.
But Kendra Miller and Kelly Hahn are here by very direct choice.
We're all just walking each other home. You gotta help each other out.
Kendra runs the prison's parenting program, 4 years and counting.
It's a big deal. 80% of the ladies in here are mothers. These ladies are going to be your neighbors. They're going to be working in businesses that you go into. Let's help them as much as we can.
Setting up Zoom calls, arranging activities, or just journaling. These emphasize what some might mistake for the little things.
They look forward to enjoying and eating a snack with mom. Oh, I love you, baby.
You've got to understand, normal looks different for everyone.
Being 15 with a son, it's kind of like you're drowning and you got to learn how to swim.
Which is why the bedrock of reliability is so important to these women. It's why someone like Kendra is so important to these women.
When my parole got denied, like it's the first place I went to was coming to Kendra, kind of just taking a breath.
You don't say next time or later in a couple weeks. They say, come on in, we'll help you. Let's see what we can do right now.
But Kendra says she's just playing her part, showing people they're more than their worst moment. And if they don't believe it yet, the work isn't done.
It feels amazing. But I don't want to be like, I'm not in it for me to feel, you know what I mean? I want them to feel amazing.
Marcus Kakova, MTN News.
Butte could be the home of a new women's prison. That's because the Department of Corrections is thinking about building a new facility there. The facility would include 400 beds on 25 acres of land in the southern part of Butte. The $250 million facility would create 100 jobs. Butte officials say they need to examine the pros and cons before supporting the plan.
It's just the challenge of overcoming, you're put in a prison within your community. You know, we're in a big economic development where people are looking at our community, and we want to make sure that it's a positive aspect for them. And so I'm not weighing in that against it, but they've got to show a lot of the positives that would impact our community more positively than negatively.
Other locations for the new prison are being considered. That includes in Yellowstone and Anaconda-Deer Lodge counties, as well as Boulder, Montana. The triple chairlift at Red Lodge Mountain remains closed after last Monday's deadly accident, which left a 37-year-old Billings man dead. The ski resort confirms his death was caused by an unexpected strong wind gust. Jeff Zinni, a husband and father to a young son, was injured in that accident before dying at a Billings hospital Wednesday morning. The ski resort says they're working with the U.S. Forest Service, the Carbon County Sheriff's Office, and the independent lift inspector to determine how this tragedy occurred. Along with the triple chair, the Willow Creek chair also remains closed for maintenance, but officials are hopeful to reopen that lift soon. With limited mountain access, daily lift tickets remain at a discounted rate. March is both Women's History Month and National Agriculture Month. In recognition of both, the Montana Ag Network is profiling inspiring women in Montana agriculture all month long. Today, MTN's Marian Davidson introduces us to a Montana woman whose podcast highlights rural agricultural life.
We don't all get to experience growing up on a farm, working on a ranch, or living in a small town. But One Montana Woman's podcast brings listeners a little closer to rural life, no matter where in the country or world they are.
You'll find my farm where the blacktop ends, where coulees snake across square-mile sections of productive farmland and oil pools and pockets far beneath the ground.
That is Megan Torgerson describing where she grew up. Tiny Dagmar in far eastern Montana, population 230. It's places like Dagmar and the people in them that Torgerson brings to the forefront in her podcast, Reframing Rural.
There's a lot of beauty in eastern Montana that I didn't see before, and that I think you can't see from your car window.
This world of farms, ranches, small towns, it's something mainstream media and pop culture do not do a great job of representing.
When I was seeing portrayals of rural people in the news, that were really representing them as a monolith.
Torgerson started Reframing Rural as a graduate school project while she was a master's student at Seattle University. She wanted to show a more full and accurate portrayal of rural people and life, because inaccurate representation and lack of understanding can have negative consequences.
When I've asked people what is the biggest threat to their family farm or ranch, I've gotten the answer multiple times that it's the lack of awareness that consumers have about agriculture and this misconception that farmers and ranchers are harming the environment.
So could you explain a little bit about how a family starts to do this type of planning? Like, should they meet with an accountant first, or what?
Through interviews, Torgerson delves into the realities and complexities of rural life, from keeping land and animals healthy to farm and ranch succession. But above all, the stories she tells are human stories.
I'm speaking to people about their families and their communities and things that really deep down in their core matter to them. And when you look at different geographies, really everybody has the same hopes. They want what's best for their families and their communities.
It's something that seems to resonate. Reframing Rural has listeners all across Montana, in pretty much every state, and even overseas. The podcast is now going into its 4th season, and Torgerson is already planning season 5.
I am really proud that it's continuing on, and I have intentions to continue it further into the future.
Continue to tell stories about people and a way of life that impacts so many in ways they might not even realize.
Montana farmers and ranchers are feeding the world, so they deserve to tell their stories to other folks in Montana and to a larger audience.
In Helena, Marion Davidson, MTN News.